I would say kind of a way that I've experienced like shame like recently is because like growing up, it wasn't always the best, you know, and like you carry a lot of shame for stuff you do in the past, and like you can carry that, you know, because it's things that you've done wrong or things that have been done wrong to you, and you're just like, I still want justice for that, you know. You're just holding on to like, oh, or maybe like I shouldn't have done that or stuff, like, you know, where you hold it. And it's the type of shame where, you know, it could be reoccurring, you know, it could be like you still haven't let go, you still haven't given that to the Lord. And it's just, for me recently, yeah, it's just the shame of my past. Sometimes like it's like little triggers or something like that where it's like, ooh, and I realize I still have it, you know.
I feel like wow. I feel like I do hear the voice of shame in my head or in my life whenever, I don't know, whenever I haven't turned in something on time for class, example, and then I feel ashamed because I want to be like a good student and to like, I don't know, not disappoint the teacher and like not waste their time and like having to grade another paper after they graded everything. So I guess like not being on top of it and like doing things a lot of the time whenever I'm expected to is whenever I feel a lot of shame.
For me, a lot of times that I feel like shame, even though it's things from the past, but they still affect me now, is like because before I became a Christian, I was living a really bad, like I was doing a lot of things I shouldn't have been doing and like making a lot of bad choices and like lying to people. And I feel like even though that was like a few years ago and I've changed, like I'm not the person I used to be at all ever since I found God. And like, because like sometimes people who knew me whenever I used to be a different person still sometimes see parts of me that aren't the same, and I'm like just feeling shameful about who I used to be and like trying not to show any of that in who I am now.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Like, I relate to that so much because, like, before, like, I knew Christ or before I had a relationship with Christ, like, I was like what you said you were doing. Like, I was just lying to people. I was just mean. I was just doing all these bad things. And it's like after I heard, you know, about Christ and the way that He can just bring joy to your life, and you know, I started to like believe it. I was like, you know what? Like, He says that I'm redeemed. He says I shouldn't feel shame. And you know, I believed it, and the shame started to disappear. But then it's like those people who they come up and they're like, what do you mean? You were just like this yesterday. And you're just like, no. And then they're like, come on, like that's you. And I was like, mm-mm. It's those type of things where it's like, you know, outside sources might want to try to just bring it back and bring back that shame and that, you know, just that feeling of not, like, the feeling is just so hard, like the pill hard to swallow. I feel like that's a big one. Like, I feel that social media has a lot of impact on how we can feel shame, because I mean, honestly, there's so many kind of like, back to the standards, like there's these standards that if you don't look this way, if you are not kind of just have this perfect form, you know, or you're this high or, you know, anything, that you why are you posting about yourself? Why are you doing all this? You don't fit the standard. And I feel like that can kind of build insecurities and just self-doubt, and then overall just lead to like shame, you know? Like, I feel like I don't look the best. I feel that I don't, you know, even look this way. And it just makes us all kind of just like afraid to show ourselves, you know, afraid in a sense to just post about ourselves. And yeah, I feel like social media does have a lot for shame.
A lot of the times I realize that people don't accept themselves, how they are, and like keep wanting to be a little different. Like, it is good to better yourself, but it's also good to value where you're at and like help yourself get further. And I think a lot of the times whenever I look at social media, it does make you feel that sense or that form of shame where you feel like you should be doing more, or maybe you're doing too much, and you're really just not able to grasp how you're supposed to be, even though God is like saying that you can be like just the way you are, and I'm here to guide you, like I'm here to help you. And so going to social media, it's definitely definitely is somewhere that bogs your mind, because you can't think clearly on that when everything is basically criticizing everything that you're doing.
I also feel like the whole entire thing is like, it's so weird because with social media, like we focus so much on like followers and likes and how much our posts, like comments it can have, and so much like that. Like we're so preoccupied with how each other, like how we perceive each other, you know. And it's so weird because it's like, how are we gonna be so worried about how someone else perceives us, you know, when, like, you know, if you go to the Bible and you look at all this, like it really changed the way I viewed like myself even, because, you know, even from the beginning, like if you barely just start reading like Genesis, it says that we're made in the image of God. And like there's so much value in that, because like in the whole creation account, like when God was creating like the trees, the oceans, the animals, all that, none of it was made in his image but us. And it's like there's so much value in that. And I feel like the whole entire thing of just letting other people give us value is kind of, it gives the wrong kind of just intent.
Yeah, it gives the wrong image.
Yeah.
For sure.